talking about the Richmond 34. There's so many people in Richmond that don't know about that. And they drive past, buildings that are specific to these histories all the time and have no idea what took place there. So I think that introducing a story through art is just a really special way for people to not feel intimidated to engage with the history.
There was another group that I think had just started getting going in 2020 called Hidden in Plain Sight. They talked about the Richmond 34, and that was my first time hearing about them. And here I've been in Richmond at that point for about 16 years, and I had never heard the Richmond 34. So
I think my first introduction was actually through the Flying Squirrels. And so that year that the Squirrels opened up the stadium for, artists to come and paint, that was my introduction to the Richmond 34.
It's nice that, there are people doing the work, spreading the message, and you're never too late to learn.
So just like the chance to get to meet, these two Elizabeths, I was like, oh my gosh, if anything else, at the very least, I'm going to go and sit and meet them and listen to their stories.
It started when they had Elizabeth come and we introduced ourselves to her and she shared her story.
It's not just a broad story anymore. It's very personal.
I knew I wanted to feature her because that's how I learned the story. And it's almost ode to, storytelling and how quilts told stories.
We are telling stories that are important, that really, defined our community, that really shaped our community.
It's important for us to, as artists and as people and communities, to get to meet these people that have lived through these things, because their oral history is only going to be around if we document it, but also while we're here to listen to them. Thankfully, Biggie is still here to tell those stories.
And I feel like every time I hear, Big E talk, there's something else new. And then so I'm trying to dig in and find out, a little bit more context from her around that.
There were some people that just didn't even want to talk about it. They didn't want to relive the experience. They didn't want to think about it. They just kind of moved on with life. But she made it her point to get that story out there.
I think there's lots of conversations. I think there's the conversation of history repeating itself and what are the lessons that can be learned.
I think it was inspirational. And, it all started with a lunch counter.